Hello, Veteran 0121 here. Welcome back. This is another episode of Dragon Quest VIII. In my attempt to pad out this playthrough a little bit longer, I'm going to do a character analysis video. I'm going to go over all the characters again. I kind of already did this when I explained their skill trees earlier. But I'm going to do it again, because why the hell not? I'm going to go through all the characters and all their skill trees and what I give them as far as grades. Swords for the hero. Mid to late game, I give a C. And the reason is, Giga Gash and Giga Slash just aren't really that powerful. Falcon Slash compared to skills like Dragon Soul and other character skills just don't cut the mustard really in the end game. They're okay, for, like, you know, the regular enemies you fight, like the random enemy mobs you fight, like the Dragovian Sanctuary and places like that, Dragovian Path, but I don't know, for the most part, the sword skills that the hero has, besides Falcon Slash, Dragon Slash, and Giga Gash and Slash, are pretty forgettable. Metal Slash is worthless. Flame Slash is pretty worthless, so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of swords with the hero. Spears, on the other hand, useful from early to pretty much late game. I mean, even late game spears are pretty good. I mean, if you're trying to level up, Lightning Thrust is what you need. And if you want to spend the points to get Lightning Storm, that's, in my opinion, better than Giga Slash and Giga Gash, just by virtue of the fact that it works all enemies on the screen. Yeah, sure, it might not be as powerful. Like, the base damage formula might not be as powerful as that, but the fact that it hits all enemies makes it one of the better skills. It's not as good as AoE damage as some of the other characters, you know. Like, I think Red can do more damage with skills like Butterfly Bop, and Yangus can do more damage with skills like Big Bonga. But Lightning Storm is pretty good. Can't complain about Lightning Storm, but there's better abilities. But as far as the other spear skills, I mean, they're amazing. Multi-Thrust is one of my favorite skills in the game. Mercurial Thrust has its uses too. You know, obviously if you want to get an attack off fast, Mercurial Thrust is what you want to finish off, you know, the last enemy that's about to die. Very good skill. Yeah, for swords, I'll give them a C. For spears, I'll give them an A-. The reason why A- is endgame spears don't really, like Lightning Storm is good, but it's not really the greatest. Like, I wouldn't use it that much against bosses. I mean, honestly, I would rather use abilities like Dragon Soul, to be perfectly honest. Or, shit, Multi-Thrust. Multi-Thrust against a single target is better than Lightning Storm. So, spears, I'll give an A- for the hero. Boomerangs, a fucking F. An F. Crosscutter Throw, worthless. Power Throw, worthless. Firebird Throw, worthless. Super Throw, worthless. All Starburst Throw, you don't need it. All those fucking skills, you deal damage against all enemies on the screen, but the hero doesn't need that. Not if you can get spells like Zap. He has spell. If you want to do damage against groups, he's got spells like, you know, the sizzle spells, like you know, cause he gets Sizzle. You know, he's got options to hit groups and all enemies on the screen. So you don't need boomerangs with the hero. The only way I would say the only way to use boomerangs in the beginning of the game, but don't even bother you putting points into boomerangs, in my opinion, in the early game. I mean, if you're gonna be crazy and do what I did and max out everybody's fucking skill trees, and go right ahead. But I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I just did it to show the skills, you know. But I don't recommend boomerangs at all for the hero. Skip boomerangs altogether. Giga Throw does crap damage against a single target. I mean, you're better off just using Multi-Thrust or Dragon Soul with the hero. So yeah, with boomerangs, I give the hero an F. They're terrible. The skills suck. All right, fisticuffs. He gets defending champion, thin air attack, and boulder toss. Those are probably his best skills that he gets with fisticuffs. I guess if you're doing a fisticuff run, multi-fist could be useful too. You know, it's a single target option. I guess fisticuffs for the hero are okay. He's got what you need. He's got defending champion. He's got thin air attack, multi-fist, and boulder toss, which are all right. You know, again, if you're doing one of those crazy challenges where all you do is fisticuffs, then he's got what you need, man. Defending champion is probably my favorite ability that he has, though. I mean, you can get thin air with a lot of other characters, and yeah, defending champion is pretty much mandatory for the post game, man. Yeah, I would say it's pretty mandatory, especially against boss fights in memory lane like Sir Leopold and the fucking Dark Servant fight. But yeah, fisticuffs, I'll give him a C. Not really needed, but it does have some useful skills. Courage, A fucking plus, man. Look at all the fucking great spells you can get. You can get Zoom. You can get Tingle. Tingle is useful in a pinch. You know, if you don't have like Moonwort bulbs or medicine in your inventory that heal status ailments. Because you will be hit by status ailments even with good status resistant gear from time to time. Because again, there are some abilities that bosses use that bypass immunity or resistance altogether. They're guaranteed to work. Holy Protection. I don't really care about Fizzle, but the Almighty Zap spell. The Zap spell is just awesome at 48 points. He gets MP consumption. Kamikaze is, despite what some idiots online will tell you, for certain boss fights, Kamikaze is worthless. It's too random, and the fact that your hero dies every time, no matter whether it works good or not for you, it's utter crap. Just a crap ability. Maybe I should knock Courage down a peg for it, but no. No, A plus, man. A plus for Omni Heal. Omni Heal is just amazing. And let's say you didn't put let's say you didn't put any skill points into swords, or don't plan on using swords at all. 100 points with Giga Slash is really good. So yeah, I mean, Courage gets an A plus, man. Courage is great. So to top it all off, how does the hero grade as far as healing, defense, and attack power? I'd say healing, he gets an A plus. Defense, he gets an A for defending champion. And for damage, I would give him a C because, mainly because of Dragon Soul. I don't know, let's look at his skills real fast here. Yeah, I mean, he has Omni Heal. That's really all you need right there as far as healing. But, yeah, Dragon Soul is middling. It's not even as good as, you know, Hand of God or Blade Cascade that Morrie and Red can get. And at 100 tension, it can deal, like, you know, in the 3000s, which is good. But it has been nerfed for this version of the game. It was better in the PlayStation 2 version, but I don't know, for some reason they thought it was too powerful. But yet they forgot to do stuff like nerf Blade Cascade and Hand of God. I don't get it. It's like they nerfed the original characters to try and make people want to use the newer characters more or something. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. But yeah, middling. He has middling damage endgame because of Dragon Soul. Other than that, the only other skills that are really good are Lightning Storm, Multi-Thrust, and Dragon Slash, Falcon Slash are good. Giga Gash is alright. Everything else is pretty forgettable, as far as I can tell. Man, Boulder Toss, you don't really need it. So yeah, I would spend the 11 points to get defending champion. If you don't plan on doing what I did and max out everybody's skill trees, just get defending champion and fisticuffs. Yeah, that's about it for the hero. Got nothing else to say about him. He's got some okay utility spells like Holy Protection, Evac, and Zoom. He's got what you need, man. Not the most powerful character in the game as far as damage. He's middling, but he's the best healer in the game, period. That is not negotiable. Omni Heal is just awesome. Plus, if you're using Munchie and you got Angel Cheese, you can use that to heal an almost dead party. Like if he's the only character left, you can use Angel Cheese to pretty reliably bring other characters back. It doesn't always work, but considering that it can work for all the dead characters in your party, it's pretty fucking good. So yeah. Using Munchie to supplement Omni Heal with Angel Cheese is why the hero is the best healer in the game. Alright, so let's talk about Jessica and her stuff. Knives. Even though they've been buffed for this version of the game, like Sudden Death has been buffed, I would skip Knives. She just doesn't have the stats. I mean, I guess if you want to sit there in memory lane and buff up her strength for a long time, Sudden Death could be good. But you're still not going to deal as much damage as Red with Knives. So, yeah, there's better options for Jessica. Toxic Sword is pretty good against Sir Leopold in memory lane, obviously, if you happen to have that with Jessica. But Red gets the same skill. So, again, you don't need it. Everything that Jessica can do with Knives, Red can do better. So I would pass on Knives for Jessica. I'd give an F for Knives with Jessica. Whips. Well, in the PlayStation 2 version, she had Twin Dragon Lash, and she still does, but it's not as good. And since it only does 90% of base damage, instead of 150% like she did in the PlayStation 2 version, Twin Dragon Lash is pretty much crap now, in my opinion. Like, it's not even worth... Hell, it might be worth just putting 23 points just to get it, maybe. I guess. And if you want to beef up her strength, maybe it's okay. But again, it falls into the same category with Knives, where you have to actually build up her strength for it to actually be somewhat useful. So yeah, I would pass on Whips for Jessica. In the PlayStation 2, I would give her a B for Whips, because there's really only one good ability in Whips. But now I just give her a flat F, because Twin Dragon Lash has been so nerfed that it's not even worth using anymore, in my opinion. Alright, Staves. I'll give Staves a... for her, I would say it's mandatory to get Kazing. No, I'll give Staves an A for Jessica, because even though it's probably better that you don't actually equip her with a staff, you get some great spells. You get Accelerate, you get Kazing, you get some other okay spells that could be useful but aren't really that useful, like Sap, Bounce, Magic Barrier. The rest of the skills in Staves are pretty forgettable, though. You don't need more MP. Jessica gets plenty of MP without this MP buffing. You don't need the MP recharge. Elfin Elixirs are really easy to make. And you got other items you can use, like Magic Water and Prayer Rings to restore MP. So you don't need those other skills. But I mean, Kazing is absolutely worth the 100 skill points. So Staves, I'll give an A for Staves, because mainly for Kazing. Kazing and Accelerate. Those are spells you absolutely have to have. Fisticuffs. Oh boy. A+, man. Magic Burst. Yeah, everything up until like Thin Air Attack and Magic Burst is forgettable, though. Harvest Moon is weak. Stone's Throw is just laughable. Even the animation in battle when she does that is pretty fucking laughable. She gets the nice evasion bonus at 52 skill points. But yeah, the big ones are the evasion bonus and Magic Burst. A+, man. Fisticuffs, I think, is a mandatory for Jessica. If there's one character in this game that you must put points in for a certain skill tree. Fisticuffs is one of them, man, for Jessica. Out of all the characters, Fisticuffs is probably her most important skill tree. I didn't know this when I didn't really know how powerful Magic Burst was when I did my original LP of this game. But I've been converted. I am now a Magic Burst guy with Jessica. Like, I don't know. If I went back to the PlayStation 2 version, I would probably prefer Magic Burst over Twin Dragon Lash. Or I would get both. I'd probably get both, actually. If I could, in that version of the game. I don't know. Skill points are kind of scarce. And then we have Sex Appeal. Yeah, I kind of said that Hustle Dance wasn't that great before when I was going over, like, talking about skill trees. But I would have to say that I was wrong, man. Hustle Dance is great just by virtue of the fact that it can be boosted with tension. If you boost Jessica's agility, it's a good way to heal even after you've used a Magic Burst, because it doesn't cost any MP. Plus you have the 1/8 chance to charm monsters. All the other skills are fairly forgettable except for Kasnooze. You want Kasnooze for S-Stark. Everything else is pretty forgettable. I guess Fuddle's kind of cool for the earlier parts of the game when enemies actually can be hit by Fuddle. But mainly you want Sex Appeal for the charm effect because it also works on boss enemies. And you want Hustle Dance because Hustle Dance, if you build up Jessica's agility enough, is great to heal your party. If the hero's busy doing something else, or if he's just too fucking slow for that particular round and you know he's going to be too slow, using Hustle Dance, high agility, and high tension with Jessica is great. Better than Angelo's multi-heal in my opinion, because that costs MP, and yeah, I don't know. Angelo just isn't as good as Jessica is dealing damage. So Jessica is a must for the end game to have in your party, in my opinion. Again, Magic Burst, just awesome. Alright, and as far as her spells, she gets some great spells, man. She gets everything you need. Kaboom, cause you know she gets fuck crackle, sizzle. Yeah, she gets everything she needs. You need to get oomph, insulate. So yeah, as far as healing, I would give her by the end game. If you get Hustle Dance, I would give her a B in healing, because again, Hustle Dance needs high tension. If you don't have high tension with her, then it's just okay. But it is very, very good healing in a pinch at high tension. So she gets a B in healing. Offensively, damage-wise, AoE the best in the game, A+. Magic Burst. Sure, she loses all her MP, but that's okay. That's what Elfin Elixirs are for, if you really need more MP. Most battles you don't, if you're using Magic Burst, it'll be over anyways, and yeah, you won't need to use any more spells. It's a great finishing move. It's also a good opener. So, yeah, love Magic Burst with Jessica. It's just awesome. And she can get Kazing too. Along with being able to use Hustle Dance, she can also learn Kazing, which is great. Utility, she knows evac. So, yeah, that's kind of nice, I guess. Don't really need it, but it's there. Alright, let's talk about red. Oh boy, here we go. Fans. I don't really like her skills with fans that much, other than I guess Fandango is okay, but you don't really need it. I don't know. It's kind of like Fandango is kind of like multi-thrust and multi-shot, and multi-fist, but yeah. By the end game, it's kind of crap. Death Dance you don't really need. Dance of Life and Butterfly Bop are probably her better ones, obviously. Dance of Life is probably her most useful fan skill, because it's essentially the same thing as Kazing. And it can't be fizzled, which is definitely notable. Butterfly Bop is alright. against all enemies on the screen. But it's not as good as Magic Burst, obviously. It's alright though. But yeah, fans, just for Dance of Life and Fandango and Butterfly Bop, yeah, I'll give her a B on those. Alright, Whips, better than Jessica, but still not needed. Since she has higher strength than Jessica, I would give her, I don't know, I'll give her a C, because again, the whip abilities just aren't fucking needed, man. Like Twin Tan, that works against a group, like you can lash a group twice, I guess. But these skills just aren't needed, they aren't worth it. So I wouldn't even bother, man. You're much better putting your points into stuff like knives. A fucking plus, man. A plus. She can use Toxic Sword, which is good against Sir Leopold. And she can learn Blade Cascade. Blade Cascade is the best single target damage dealer ability in the game. It is utterly broken, especially if you pair it with the Lord Bracer and the right weapons with Red. I mean, it's just fucking amazing. You've seen it. I've shown it. You can kill anything with Blade Cascade. So as far as single target damage, yeah, Red gets fucking A+. Fisticuffs, you don't need it. She gets Defending Champion. She gets Thin Air. Other than that, that's all that's really notable. She gets some nice agility bonuses with Fisticuffs. And she gets in a nice attack plus 50, but again, you don't need it. So, yeah, I would put 7 points in Defending Champion, or put 7 points of Fisticuffs for Defending Champion. Then after that, I wouldn't bother. Okay, Roguery, here we go. This skill tree is amazing. A+, man. A fucking plus. Knee Jerk Nick is one of the best skills in the game. One of the best passive skills. Being able to have an extra chance for an item drop, which is essentially stealing, is totally worth your time, man. When you're trying to farm Thanatos shields from Hell Gatekeepers, yeah, it's a must. If you're trying to farm Orichalcum, Knee Jerk Nick is a must, because they don't drop very often. As far as the last two ones you can get, like the HP 30 and the Fire in the Hole, yeah, I wouldn't buy. If you're not planning on maxing out everything and farming skill points, I would just put 66 in for Knee Jerk Nick, and then I would stop there. I wouldn't bother with Fire in the Hole, because you don't need it. Everything else, though, is great. You get full heal. Dosh Toss can be useful. And she gets Accelerate, too, which is also good. Yeah, A+ for the Roguery tree, man. Just some amazing skills. Alright, now as far as everything else. But yeah, like I mentioned for Red, as far as damage, the best in the game. Period. Single target damage, best in the game. Jessica's the best AoE damage, burst damage. But as far as single target damage, there is no character in the game better than Red at dealing single target damage to an enemy. As far as healing, I give her a C. I mean, she can learn Dance of Life and she can learn Full Heal. So if you need her to heal and revive characters, she can do that for you. She can't do any, like, unless you give her a Sage Stone, she can't do any, like, multi-target healing, but she's got Full Heal, and she's got Dance of Life, so she gets a C in that regard. As far as utility, she gets an A+, man. Again, Knee Jerk Nick is just awesome. That's a must-have in my opinion. Alright, so that's done with Red there. So let's move on to Morrie. Let's look at his stuff. I know this is kind of like repeats of what I said before, but I just want to reiterate, you know, because some of my opinions from some of these skills have changed. Propeller blades, it's kind of good, but you don't need it. Can opener, you don't need it. Hard claws is okay if you're just trying to do, you know, if you're trying to do okay damage against a single target. I don't know, it's kind of like a souped up Falcon Slash, but I don't know, the only way it's really decent is if you're at high enough tension. Rake and Break, good when you're trying to, yeah, it's good at the lower levels when you actually care about enemies, you know, psyching up or using buffs on themselves. Late game, Rake and Break probably isn't that needed though. And if your party is beefed up enough, you don't need Rake and Break. But Hand of God is Morrie's claim to fame as far as single target damage, man. Oomph, tension, if you're fighting an enemy that can be exploited as far as an enemy type, like a dragon, equipped Dragon Lord Claws, yeah, you can deal a ton of damage from Hand of God. And it ignores defense. So those dragons like Dark Steel Dragon are going to be dead. So yeah, no more needing Dragon Soul, no more needing Lightning Thrust and Executioner for those enemies at earlier levels. Yeah, Hand of God is fantastic. That ability alone gives Claws an A+, in my opinion. Clubs, Power Pummel is probably his best skill, but again, it's kind of an afterthought if you're smart enough to get Lightning Thrust and Executioner with the hero and Yangus. So I'll give this one, I'll give Clubs a B for Power Pummel, and I guess Feel the Beat is okay. But again, you don't really need it. Points are much better spent in other skill trees, in my opinion. Cause yeah, I mean, fuck, you don't need Shatter Shield. Heartbreaker is eh. Mindbreaker, eh. You don't need it. Well, yeah, Heartbreaker and Mindbreaker are actually the same skill. It's just an upgraded version. Yeah, clubs with Morrie are better than they are with Yangus, but you don't need them. But they're not bad. Boomerangs with Morrie. He's only got one skill with boomerangs it's actually worth a shit. Swing Both Ways is actually really good. I like Swing Both Ways. For a certain boss battle in Memory Lane. I like it for the Dark Servant. Other than that, yeah, and I wouldn't even care about Swing Both Ways. If Jessica could use Magic Burst in that Dark Servant battle in Memory Lane, then I probably wouldn't even use Swing Both Ways. But it's good to have its uses. Good for those multi-target boss fights. I would say after you're done putting points into Claws and Passion for Kazing, then I would start putting him into Boomerangs after that. He gets Swing Both Ways. So yeah, I'll give Boomerangs a C. He's only got one ability that's worth a shit. The rest of them you don't even need. They're pretty forgettable. Fisticuffs, F. Passion Plunge is absolute shit. Do not put points in the Fisticuffs with Morrie. It's absolute shit. The fact that he takes damage from Passion Plunge is absolutely unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. You're going to put 100 skill points into a skill that he deals very, very forgettable damage, and then it also hurts him on top of it. No. Just no. Fisticuffs is crap for Morrie. Alright? Alright, here we go. Passion. He gets Oomph. He gets Sap. Pit of Fire / Arena of Flames is one of the best AoE skills in the game, in my opinion. Intenso is one of the best skills in the game, in my opinion. Grande Gusto is one of the best skills in the game, in my opinion. Oh, and he also gets Kazing, too, in this skill tree. So yeah, A fucking plus, man. If you're using Morrie in your final party, Passion is a must. You gotta put points in Passion, man. I would say get Kazing, and then after that, if you don't feel like getting more points for Monster Mia, don't bother. But I mean, you get so many great skills with Passion that it's a must. A fucking plus, man. And as far as everything else, Morrie doesn't really have any spells worth noting other than maybe Kazing and Oomph. You don't need mid-heal and you don't need Sap. And you don't need Monstrous Musk either. You don't need that shit. Yeah, Morrie has some great skills. Grande Gusto, Intenso, Arena of Flames, Swing Both Ways are probably his best ones. I would say as far as single target damage, he gets a B. He's not as good as Red, but he's better than the hero at dealing single target damage. So yeah, he gets a B. As far as healing, I would give him a D. I mean, he's got Kazing. That's it. And you need to spend skill points to get Kazing. But yeah, I mean, he can't really heal other than Kazing. So he gets a D in that regard. He'd get an F if he didn't have Kazing. And as far as utility, he's got awesome buffing skills. I give him an A. Grande Gusto and Intenso alone gives him an A. That skill is just awesome. Being able to, you know, psych up other party members with more tension is just amazing. Gotta have it. So there you go, man. That's Morrie. Who am I talking about now? Guess we're talking about Angelo next, huh? Swords. He doesn't even get Dragon Slash. Yeah, Angelo gets Falcon Slash and he gets Lightning Storm. That's it. Not bad. Not really needed. Nah. Fucking C, man. Swords, I'll give him a C. They're not terrible, but they're not particularly good either. So with Angelo, I'd pass on swords for the most part. Bows, he gets multi-shot. Single target damage, great against bosses. And shit, for cleaning up in random encounters too, man. I love multi-shots, so yeah, one of the best skills. Shining Shot is okay. I don't know, I give this skill tree for Angelo a B. I mean, really the only skill that is a must-have is multi-shot. Shining Shot you don't really need. You can get other skills that do the same thing or better than Shining Shot. But it's again, Shining Shot's not bad. I guess if you're gonna get Shining Shot, don't put any more points in here if you're strapped for points, because Needle Rain is absolute garbage. This Needle Rain is probably the worst 100-point skill in the game. I mean, Passion Plunge is pretty bad, but Needle Rain is just, it never works. I have never seen it work. Seraph Zero, you don't really need. I don't know. The skills are, other than multi-shot, are pretty forgettable. You don't need any of them, really. They're not bad, I guess. But yeah, Needle Rain is just, the one that's really bad is fucking Needle Shot and Needle Rain. It's just, ugh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Staves. So yeah, I give Bows a B for Angelo. Multi-shot gives him a B. Staves. Yeah, I'm kind of a completionist in a way, so I wanted the spells, so I mean, I would put 65 points to get all the spells, and then after that, I wouldn't bother. But then again, at the same time, you don't really need these spells. I mean, unless you plan on having Angelo in your party all the time, like in the end game, you definitely want Oomph, because that'll be useful for buffing other characters, or maybe even himself. But you don't need it, really. So yeah, Staves I'll give a C. Fisticuffs, for him I'd give a B, actually, because he knows defending champion and he's got that dodge bonus. So that is pretty good. And Miracle Moon is better than Harvest Moon. It's not great or anything, but it is better. Yeah, I'll give him a B. He's one of the better fisticuff characters in the game. But I still wouldn't bother with it, other than defending champion. The only thing I would have to say that's the downside of Angelo and fisticuffs, you have to give him 68 skill points to get defending champion. But the good thing about that is you don't really have to sacrifice too many points to get multi-shot, and then pair that with the amount of points you need for Oomph and the amount of points you probably want to put in Charisma. It's not really a huge stretch to get defending champion with him too. So yeah, fisticuffs, I would get defending champion, and then I would stop. I wouldn't even go for Miracle Moon because, again, you don't need it. Ooh, here we go, charisma. Now, I would say out of all the characters, their fifth tree, I'd say his is one of the weaker ones out of, if I was to grade it for all the characters, but he does get some good ones like Charming Look, Pearly Gates. He gets Kerfuddle, Sarcastic Snigger / Chilling Chuckle. Divine Intervention, I guess you don't really need in this version of the game because you got characters like Red. But yeah, he's got Charming Look and he's got Pearly Gates and Kerfuddle. Those are really, I mean, those, I wouldn't say they're must-have skills, but Charming Look is very good. So I would at least give that. I'll give him a B in Charisma. He's got some decent abilities here. Nothing to go that sets it apart from the other characters, but some good skills. Some good skills. Can't complain about Charisma for Angelo. As far as everything else, he is, as far as damage, I would give him, I'll give him a B minus. He's got multi-shot. He's got multi-shot with the bow. As far as AoE damage, he's got Charming Look, which is okay. So I'll give him a B minus. He's alright as far as damage. He's not the greatest though. Healing, I'll definitely give him a B for multi-heal. I mean, he's one of the better healers in the game. I wouldn't say he's not as good at healing as the hero in Jessica. Well, he's better earlier game, but in the late game, he's not as good. Jessica is Hustle Dance, and the hero has fucking Omni Heal. But he knows Kazing. He learns Kazing naturally. He's got that going for him. The other characters actually have to get spend skill points or get Dance of Life, with skill points to get Kazing-like effects. But Angelo just learns it on his own, so that's good for him. But yeah, other than like Pearly Gates and Kaswoosh and his spells are kind of by end game. You don't really need them. But they are nice. I mean, for a backup character, he's got what you need. You got Kazing. You got Defending Champion in case you need a tank for the character that I'm about to talk about. But yeah, utility, Angelo's got Zoom. It's pretty good. Alright, Yangus, last but not least. I do love Yangus, but I have to say he's probably the weakest character in the game, sadly. In Axes, he's got Executioner. Every other ability is pretty forgettable. You don't need Typhoist Maul, because it's situational and works on like, I think it's like beast type enemies it does more damage against. And I think it does like 50% damage against all targets. But again, for 100 points, forgettable, man. 66 points for Executioner, then after that, stop. Don't put any more points in. Clubs, absolute shit. Absolute shit. Even Devil Crusher is forgettable. You don't need it. Those Penny Pincher skills are crap. The fucking... Yeah, you don't need more gold. There's ways of getting gold. So yeah, clubs for Yangus, absolute shit. Scythes, Big Bonga's good. But again, like I mentioned before, do you wanna waste 100 points to get Big Bonga? I don't know. Not high on my priority list. If you got the points, if you got 100 skill points laying around that you don't feel like you don't have going against something better, then go ahead and get Big Bonga. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother. Axes for Yangus, I'll give a B for Executioner. Clubs F. Scythes, I'll give a C for Big Bonga, I guess, for Scythes. But that's about it, man. Big Banga is his best AoE skill, but besides that, he doesn't have shit. Fisticuffs for Yangus, I'll give a B plus for Yangus for Fisticuffs, and mainly that's for thin air attack. You can get it early on, paltry 42 skill points, and you get a great early to mid game skill. Beyond that, I wouldn't even bother. But the fact that he gets a lot of his skill points early, he gets more than the other characters. You can get this early, and it's more powerful than a lot of what the other characters can get. So, yeah, Fisticuffs, I'll give Yangus a pretty good grade. By the end game, though, yeah, you don't really need it. But early to mid game, thin air attack, outstanding. Fisticuffs for Yangus is a must. It's a must-have, because it beats out anything you can do in axes, clubs, and sides up to that point. Alright, humanity. You get some alright utility skills. Heal and mid-heal are forgettable. Kabuff you don't need. Share magic is garbage. Warcry you don't really need. Underpants dance, hilarious, but you don't need it. But no, the reason why you want to put points into humanity is for the almighty Kerplunk skill. And Kerplunk will save your ass if you're lower levels. Once you get your party beefed up, sure, you probably don't need Kerplunk as much, but if you're going through there at a lower level, I mean, Kerplunk is just awesome. It's a must-have, in my opinion, in this version of the game. In the PlayStation 2 version, Kerplunk wasn't as good. I mean, it was still good, but it's much better in this version of the game by virtue of the memory lane dungeon. So, as far as other things, as far as damage, I would give Yangus a single target offense an F, because he doesn't really have any good single target skills. He just doesn't. I mean, there's other characters that do better damage. Hero does more damage with multi-thrust. Angelo does more damage with multi-shot. Red does more damage with Blade Cascade. Yeah, he's not very good in that regard. Hell, he's not even that good in AoE damage. He's got Big Banga. That's it. No, sadly, even though Yangus is one of my favorite characters in Dragon Quest, in the whole series, in battle, he's got Kerplunk. That's about it. That's really about it. And he can get thin air attack early. And then he's got some good utility skills in Executioner. But yeah, other than that, man, there's not really much to say about Yangus. Healing, I'll actually give him a B because of Kerplunk. Because Kerplunk is amazing. It really is. Emergency healing, I'll give him a B. He can't do anything else, but he's got that at least. Offense, I give him a fucking F. He's not good in offensively. End game. Mid game, early to mid game, I give him I'll give him a C. I don't know, maybe that's being I'll give him a B actually, because thin air is pretty much what finishes off your random battles in the early game, so I don't know. Yeah, Yangus is hard to grade, man. Utility, I would give him a C, because even his utility skills aren't really as good as Red's. Like, Nose for Treasure is pretty good, but if you're using a walkthrough, I guess you don't need it, I suppose. But it is nice to have, in case you don't feel like stopping the game to look at a walkthrough every 2 seconds. So, Nose for Treasure has its uses. Whistle has its uses. Padfoot is crap. I can't even tell the difference half the time, but I don't know. It's alright. It's alright, I guess. But there you go. That's all my grades for the characters. If you have anything to add that I didn't talk about, or if you disagree with what I had to say about all the characters, feel free to comment in the comments section. And that's all for this episode of Dragon Quest VIII. I may or may not show off the endings next. I may show off some other things if I find them. Otherwise, if I don't, I'll be showing off the endings, and that'll be it, sadly. See you next time. Bye-bye.